Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker and today is our next meta deck profile and gameplay video on the channel. I put out a poll a few days ago and you guys decided that this was the next deck that you guys wanted to see. So we are looking at the Beast Relentless. A bit of a long one today. I've got 2 different deck lists to show you and talk you through, and I've got 4 games in total. But yeah, this will be a bit of a longer video. Part of that's because there's some extra admin stuff that I discuss right at the end, but I also wanted to be able to show you a few games as examples for these deck profiles. But let me know feedback in the comments. Do you mind these longer videos, or do you prefer them to be a bit shorter? Let me know in the comments and I will respond to the feedback. But yeah, there's a lot to cover, so let's jump straight in.
Oh no you don't. Yes, it is once again I, the based crystal ball, the most precious lore in all of Lorcana. And you thought you were gonna move straight on without me having my moment? Without giving my public their chance to look upon my glory?
Crystal Ball, you were a fun bit, but I promised myself when I started this channel no more elaborate edits.
Silence! You may have doubted the reach of my based crystal gaze, but my people showed their loyalty in the comments.
Crystal Ball, we do not have time to go through every single comment someone made about you.
Oh, so you admit there were a lot of them?
Timestamps down below.
Yes! Look first to them that be so beautifully named. 2310191, Mr. Sorry, I hope I didn't butcher that. Perhaps it should be 23, 10, 19, 81. Maybe it's 23,101,981. Anyway, they said crystal ball, genius, and some other stuff. A genius I am! See how I give this one a 25% subscriber gain mere days since my emergence as an instant Lorcana celebrity. Hey! I should have a photo shoot!
You're not having a photo shoot.
Next we have Kevin Floors, who said, immediately thought of YGOTAS Marek when BCB spoke and immediately wanted to hear it say Bakura. Laughing emoticon. Ah yes, the whole Marek thing again. Yes, please understand, I myself am not Marek. I have merely tributed his voice with my based crystal magic, for he too is very evil. But yes, I know the Bakura of which you speak. He's a bit too British for my tastes.
First of all, thanks. Second of all, you do realise like 50% of our viewers are British.
What's the other 50%?
They're all unsubscribing.
Next, Patrick says, Crystal Ball is very lovely. Thank you for your kind words, Patrick. I see you have a little picture of a film slate. Are you a movie maker? If so, may I suggest the hottest young crystal on the YouTubes? Myself. Next, The Late Adventures returns with I demand crystal ball bits in every video. Laugh emoticon. See? The people demand it. And how fortunate we are to see you, The Late Adventures. On time. Perhaps there will, after all, be adventures. Next, MadLink1650 says, Totally, we gotta see a crystal ball on set. Oh my crystallization, yes! It will be an item card, and it will be the most powerful item of all. It will be inkable and read, You are based, so you win. Next we have the Illumination, or the Illumination, with more crystal ball. Well, I'm already pretty moored. I'm restricted to this little holder here. Probably for the best, really. Or I'd just be rolling around the place. That doesn't sound very nice. I get travel sick. Anyway, next we have Dad Pokemon. Is your dad a Pokemon? Or are you yourself both a Pokemon and a dad? Oh, on closer inspection it appears you are bequeathed Duskull ad Pokemon. What a bizarre mathematical equation your name presents. I will ponder upon its meaning. They said, was Crystal Ball's voice inspired by my... yes, fair enough. Oh, and I see you went on to realise that the answer to your question was but a short way away. But props to you for not just deleting the comment. Many would, but not you. Not you. Next up,
This is far too long.
it's the last one. Arjun Vandergerd. Goodness me, what a powerful name. You will make a worthy soldier in my crystal army. I can feel it. Who's this villain who keeps telling the host of the show to be gone? Yes, exactly. Who are you to be gone, the based crystal ball? Your audacity offends me.
For what it's worth, we won't be reading out every single comment that has anything to do with the crystal ball every single upload.
Fine, but I should have my own show. Viewers can comment their questions for me into the crystal mailbag, and I will pick 2 or 3 to respond to. It will be the crystal mailbag segment, with my own special intro.
Okay, that's quite enough. Be gone, crystal
You will
ball!
all bow before me!
Let's get on with it. So, let's talk about Beast Relentless. Legendary from Rise of the Floodborn, 6 cost inkable with a 4/5 stat line, Storyborn Hero Prince, 2 lore, and the second wind ability. Whenever an opposing character is damaged, you may ready this character. So nothing on there that says that it can't quest again, as was quite standard with a lot of our Chapter 1 cards that allowed you to re-ready things. So you can keep questing with this. If you can keep doing damage, then you can keep re-readying and you can keep questing or challenging as far as you can go until you work through those 5 willpower. But yeah, really interesting card. So yeah, when we think about damaging the opponent, this works both through attacks, challenges, and through any way of dealing chips. So fire the cannons, Tinkerbell, teeth and ambitions, grab your swords, all of that sort of stuff. This will re-ready. So obviously the point here is to put this beast down, and then you have to wait for a turn for the ink to dry, and then we do as much chip to as much as we can and just keep re-readying and keep questing and get as close as we can to the game. That being the case, the dream partner for the beast is steel, just because it has access to the most amount of chip. And all of our both of our decks and all of our gameplay today are with steel. Beast is really interesting. It's a really cool card. It can work. I don't think it's consistent enough. I've had a real hard time of it. I mentioned in my community post the other day that I'm changing the way I go about deck profiles. It used to be that I would just do live games, but sometimes it would take me so long to find a game that was actually interesting and worth showing and showed the strengths and the weaknesses of the deck. So going forward, I've decided whenever I'm going to do a deck profile, I'll just find a time of the day where I've got a couple of hours to just play a load of games, record them all. And then I'll pick the ones that are the most informative and then do post-game commentary for them, which is exactly what I've done here. I've already had the games, and now I'm gonna watch them back and we're gonna talk about it. And yeah, I can tell you I had a hard time trying to get games that I thought were worth showing because it's not great. It's not very consistent. Unfortunately, turn 6 is a bit too late to be putting down something that doesn't immediately do something, because the format is just so aggressive. There's so much removal. Most of the decks being played at which is like red blue or steel amber, which both have access to so much removal. You just don't get assured value. Beast for me at the moment is more you're playing green. I don't think you should be building around Beast. You can to a degree, but the best thing for Beast is partnering him with Steel. Steel is just inherently strong anyway. But yeah, I found a lot of my games where even when I was winning, it was due to just Steel being Steel as opposed to the Beast doing remotely anything. And yeah, he does have a hard time, so I don't think he's going to be massively consistent. He will pop up in top 8 lists, I have no doubt. And maybe I'll be proved entirely wrong and they'll come, he will start to dominate, but I'm not seeing it so far. I just don't think it's enough. I don't think with this format, we need more stuff. Or if we had the ability to rush quest, this immediately becomes better if we ever get that as a mechanic and we can put that onto this beast via a song or an action of some description or an item or another character, if rush quest ever comes into the game. But yeah, at the moment I just don't think it's enough. But it's a lot of fun. It can be. And yeah, let's go through the deck because I've got 2 different builds here. One is with, well, both of them are Steel Emerald. One of them I've played into the hand discard package. One of them I haven't. And what we're going to do is I'm going to talk you through the Relentless Discard version, which is the hand destruction. And then I've got 2 games to show you immediately. I've got a short one and a long one with this deck. Then I'll show you the other version of this archetype that I've built. And I will once again show you a short game and a long game and do commentary for it all. So let's talk through the rest of the deck. We've got 3 copies of Robin Hood, 2 cost uninkable, 1/3 stat line, quest for 1, and the ability to where you can exert to deal 1 damage to chosen character. So this is obviously another great way to ping for our beast, but also it's just good to put down early game. The fact that Robin has 3 willpower means that he survives the Storm Rage on. A lot of the time he tends to stick around at least for a turn or so, and even if it's not just ping for beast, sometimes just this extra ping alongside your other chip damage cards is just enough to remove a target. So I think 3 copies is right. We've got 3 copies of the Huntsman, who does suffer in a format with so much let the Storm Rage on and just so much chip in general, but if you can get him down turn 2 and he stick around a turn, then questing for 2 is big, and the ability to just start sorting through our deck as quick as we can and find the key pieces that we need, because we really need to set up as quick as we can. Contributing to pinging, let's also talk about, we've got Hans, 2 copies, 4 cost inkables, quest for 2, and the ping is built into the questing, so you get 2 for 1. In that respect, 3/3 stat line. This could be a higher count. I ended up bringing it down to 2 because I thought that was enough in this particular build. Obviously, Tinkerbell, 4 counts. We've seen none of the baby here, but Tinkerbell is still so inherently strong. She's dropping off a little bit just because there's such a rise in the popularity of Cinderella Stoutheart, who you see isn't in this list. She's in the other one. So there's often times where she's just not doing anything, but a lot of the time she is, and if you're against things like aggro, Tinkerbell is just still really, really good, so I think she's absolutely still worth playing. And again, an extra way to get ping damage for your beast, and potentially you can get 2 off of Tinkerbell if her ink's dry. You'd have to 1 turn you ping, and then the next turn you challenge, you do some damage, so beast re-readies, and then the Tinkerbell effect goes into play where you get to ping something else. Again, this is all providing your opponent has a board that you can do this, but often they do. Also in the way of chip, we've got a 4 Fire the Cannons, only 2 copies of Smash. I still think Smash is important. So many things that have 3 willpower that you just want to be able to deal with straight away. Plus, you see we're running 4 copies of Ring the Bell, which is one of our best removal cards, one of our only just hard removal cards. I say hard, they need to have a damage counter on them, and sometimes Smash is your only reliable way of getting damage counters onto things like Cinderella Stouthearted, or anything that's got resist +2, which I think is her. Tiana, is that +2 or +1? And Hercules, who isn't saying, obviously the main target there is Cinderella, so sometimes it's just you need that so that she at least takes 1 damage so you can ring the bell. But yeah, lots of targets for Smash, and this could be a 3. If you wanted to mess with some counts, I wouldn't blame you for taking this to a 3 count. Only 2 copies of the Storm Rage on in this build. I think there's 3 in the other one. This deck already has a lot of uninkables, which is again another reason why the Huntsman is really good in this deck. We're not playing the Cinderella line because the baby Cinderella can help you with just milling through your deck and find the pieces that you need, but we're just relying on the Huntsman for that, along with just our card draw that comes courtesy of Prince John, who we'll get to in a moment. But yeah, 2 copies of Storm Rage on, only 2 copies of Grab Your Swords as well. Again, we're playing so many uninkables, and this deck is kind of hard to set up as it is, so it was more of a consistency card. And like, to be honest, even in the other version of this that is playing Cinderella, I think I'm only playing 3, which, to be fair, I think we looked at a deck that top 8'd the other day, which was green silver, and they were only with the beast, and I was saying that I wasn't sure if I agreed with the only 3 copies of Grab Your Swords, but having played with it a bit more, I do think that's probably the right shout. But if you wanted to play this at a full count, then that's fair enough. Only 1 copy of Whole New World in this particular list, the other one has 4. It's because really we're hoping that our card draw is going to come off of discarding and Prince John, and we don't want to be giving them a whole new hand, but it's nice to have 1 as an option for potentially when you need it. And then obviously all our hand discard stuff, Prince John, important for being able to draw when you do that discarding, so you maintain your advantage and keep accumulating cards. Ward is really, really important on him. Never quest with Prince John, and like, unless you're going, you literally have game, because even if they don't have anything, like, unless you're absolutely certain that that they're not going to bring something out with Rush, then just don't risk it. He's too important. 4 Benja in this list just because, like, it wasn't in the original list. But yeah, Ruby, Sapphire, port control is everywhere, and it doesn't make the match easy by any stretch of the imagination, but he does help slow them down a bit. So yeah, Benja's really Benja. I think it's just if you're playing Steel, you should be playing Benja. Just while Ruby Sapphire remains as popular as it is. We've got 4 copies of Daisy Duck and 2 copies of Lucifer for synergy with discarding, and 3 copies of Sudden Chill, 4 copies of Hypnotize. You also see 4 Beast Tragic Hero here. I think is one of the best cards in Steel. Just allows us to keep another way to reliably keep drawing. If you do end up getting to taking damage and getting to that 7 strength, that can be really handy for dealing with a lot of things, aka Cinderella Stouthearted, because she'll take the 5 and she will be banished, so that's really important. So yeah, I absolutely love Beast. And 4 copies of Pete, who wasn't in the original list, but I just kept late game, just everything, just removal, Hades, Maleficent, blah blah, etc, etc, etc. So yeah, Pete really puts in work. He's not who you want to be putting down turn 5. Turn 5, you want to be putting down either Beast or Lucifer, really, or you're using some chip damage cards to remove some threats. Pete is more for past turn 7, where hopefully you had a bit of a board, and then they've dealt with it, and maybe there's been a be prepared or something like that, and you're like, okay, now with clean board, down goes Pete. I mean, you can put him down early if you want to, but that's when I found he came in handy the best. They just cleared a board, and now I respond with Pete. And the odds of being able to get the 2 actions off in a turn are pretty good as well. Obviously, you shouldn't play into that so hard that you're wasting resources that you really shouldn't have. But sometimes you end up playing 2 actions anyway because you needed to. So being able to give him that boost in strength, which again, with 7 can take out Cinderella Stouthearted, which is important, and questing for 4 is really big. So that is the deck. So I'm going to show you 2 games now. One of them is a shorter one is a longer one. And again, there may be a couple of counts that are slightly different between those 2 games, but this is the final list that I've ended on. I will mention now, though, as well, one last thing. No Captain Hook in here, and he's not in the other version of this deck you're going to see. You could put him in just as a 1-drop. I mean, really, quite often, if we go first, we don't mind not playing anything. We'd rather just keep hand control and ink and then put down something turn 2. If we go second, in a perfect world, we're using Fire the Cannons on their Cinderella or their Lilo or something like that. Hook is also good just as another cheap option to be able to put down after you've already put Beast Relentless on the board, just as being able to start applying the extra ways of applying damage. So if you wanted to put Hook in here, fair enough. My cuts, if you wanted to go to a 4 line of Hook, you could go to 3 Prince John if you really wanted to. I like the 4 because I just think it's so important to open up with him plus Daisy / Hypnotize / Sudden Chill, probably in that order. So yeah, I don't like cutting him, but you could. If you feel like 3 Benja is enough, you could make the cut there. You could go down to 3 Pete, or even less if you're not a Pete believer. You could go down to a low count of Sudden Chill. These are things I think are all reasonable. Maybe even 3 Tinkerbell if you really want to. I'm not sure I want to cut anything else, but yeah, if you wanted to run Hook, then you could. But anyway, let's show you some games. So like I said, I've already played these games and they have been sped up and there's been cuts in blank space just so that it hopefully flows better. Feel free to give me feedback in the comments if you think it's too fast or anything that you can suggest that you think would raise the production quality. But we're going first, so you see our hand here. We immediately throw away Beast, Tinkerbell, Ring the Bell. I think my thought trail is, okay, I want the Benja if they're playing Ruby Sapphire. Huntsman's a good turn 2 drop. I always like holding Beast if I can afford it, because knowing I can build to it on turn 5 so often feels safer than building to a whole new world, even though there's only 1 copy in this deck. And Daisy is one of our pieces that we want to find early game. We do end up throwing back the Beast. I think my thought trail was probably just, I'm not throwing back enough pieces here to have a really good early game. I think I really wanted to dig for Prince John. We find what you see. We're going to immediately ink one of these Huntsmen, which makes sense as we've got 2 of them, and we pass straight over. We're holding that Fire the Cannon, so we can respond if we want to. We're playing against Amber. They ink a Stitch, and they throw down a Lilo, which we love to see because we don't even ink. We just immediately play that, and we do ink the Beast Relentless here. I was hesitant to ink Beast Relentless in all these games. I was like, I'm trying to make content around this card, so I really shouldn't be throwing it, but it made the most sense at this time. We pass over to them. They ink another Stitch. and throw down a Pinocchio. So we're looking at Amethyst, Amber Amethyst aggro, which is a really good matchup for us because we just have so much ping. We ink a Avenger because we immediately don't think we're going to need it that much. They could be playing Lanterns. I don't think they'd be playing any of Amethyst's other items like mirrors or anything like that, and I'm not too worried about that. Lantern would have been the only reason to really keep it, but I don't want to throw it. I could have thrown the Huntsman, you could make an argument, but I'm happy to throw it. We put down the Robin Hood and we pass up. I was expecting an immediate bounce of this Pinocchio. They quest up for 3. I watched this obviously like an hour or so ago. They ain't Maleficent, but they do bounce immediately, get that Pinocchio back to the hand and pass up. We draw a Smash, which is kind of perfect. I'm pretty sure we play that straight away. Yeah, remove this Maleficent. And we ink... What did I ink? The Daisy, yeah, it makes the most sense because we don't really have any combo pieces. I really want to get the Beast down next turn, and yeah, I would have to ink something else anyway, so that's my trail of thought. They go with the 1-cost Stitch, followed up by a Simba. Pass over to us. We draw Fire the Cannons. We ink the Huntsman straight away, and I think I was going to Beast, but because of this play here, we're able to get off a really nice grab your swords, and then we just ping the final damage there on Simba. Alternatively, I could have just quested, and then if they challenged into me with Simba, then they would have taken themselves out, and I would have survived it, but I thought this was more important just to get rid of it in this moment. You could make an argument that like it would have been better to quest. We pass, they draw an ink, a Pascal, and pass up, so they've got 4 ink but nothing to do at all, so they're holding on to a pretty bad hand. Apologies that like as I pause it this will come up at the bottom. Maybe I can change that actually. Okay, I was able to change that. This should be better. So we draw Pete. We just immediately throw down the Beast because now we want to start accumulating cards because we haven't got a whole lot going on. I didn't quest because I know that they're running rush stuff and I didn't want to just give this up for free because yeah, they go to 5 ink. They could have put down a 1-drop and then gone Madam Mim Fox, which I wasn't too keen on. I probably could have quested, but it's fine. They ink something and once again play nothing. We draw a Tinkerbell. So admittedly, they clearly weren't drawing very well here. But yeah, we draw and we throw down our Daisy Duck. We quest up safely. At this point, I do decide to start questing. They ink a Floodborn Queen and throw down their Stitch. We draw Benja and Prince John, courtesy of our Beast. Just such a strong card. We throw down Prince John, finally able to get him down, and we've already got Daisy on the board, so we're able to quest, which would make them discard a card and make us draw, and we get the victory. So very clearly they had a couple of turns there where they didn't get a whole lot going on, but just showing you, the combination of ping plus hand. We didn't really demonstrate hand discard until the end there, but that was enough for them to call it quits. So yeah, just a nice quick game there, showing some of the deck's utility. So this is a bit of a longer one, so we want to go going first. So we get Hypnotized, Daisy Duck, Beast, Prince John, Tinkerbell, Sudden Chill, and Smash. I think I keep this hand. Yeah, I keep this entire hand because I'm really happy with this. I'm going first, so I can ink something. I can build to Prince John plus Daisy. Like this, and that's another interesting thing that I should have talked about while we were reviewing the deck, but I'll do it now. When you're playing this hand discard package, and you do have Prince John, Daisy, and Hypnotize, you need to make a decision of basically turn 3. Really, you're going to be putting down Prince John, but then you need to make a decision on turn 4. Do I Hypnotize because I can immediately now start making you discard things and drawing cards while I know my Prince John is there and safe? Or do I be a little patient so that I can instead on turn 4 put down Daisy? Obviously, you don't get any immediate discard, but if you can be patient and you feel like you can survive an extra turn, then you get to quest with Daisy, make them discard and draw, and play Hypnotize in the same turn. Obviously, you play Hypnotize turn 3, then turn 4, you're putting down Daisy, you're missing a turn. So I think tempo usually works better if you're able to put down Daisy first, but just thought I'd mention that now. So we draw, no, we don't draw, we ink Smash, call it a turn, pass over to them. Once again, this has all been cut to fill the dead space. They ink a Rapunzel and throw down a Cinderella, which is a time we would love to be holding a Fire the Cannons, but we are not. We ink Tink just because everything in our curve here really is Prince John, Daisy, Beast in a perfect world, or Hypnotize potentially. So we throw that away. I want to keep Sudden Chill as well. Yeah, I think I ummed and ahed about whether or not I wanted to ink that instead, but I decided I wanted to just play it and start immediately lowering their options. You could make the argument that you could have just inked ink that instead. They ink the is it Selfless Protector Beast, or is that the name of the ability? Can't remember. Throw down a Cinderella and a Baby Stitch. So they're starting to extend. They're going to quest up to 1. We draw Fire the Cannon, so we have immediately we have a lot of arts and stuff going on here. We end up getting rid of the Daisy, which isn't preferable, but I didn't want to throw the Beast. I could have thrown the Hypnotize here instead, but I think just because they are starting to be aggressive and lower their hand count, I think at this point in time I was thinking, okay, well, I would rather Hypnotize sooner, and then I'll get Beast down. So I think that was my thought trail. I probably should have done it the other way the more I think about it. I should have inked the Hypnotize there, and then on my next turn put down Daisy. Yeah, I think just because they had less cards in their hand, I was keen to just get it going off sooner, but again, it's a call you're always going to have to make based on the context of the board. They throw Aerial when they miss, which sucks for them, to be fair, but happens to me all the time, so we take those. They quest up with Stitch and Cinderella, and I'm pretty sure the other one as well, taking them to 4. We draw up, we get the Storm Rage on, so lots of chip damage in this deck. So we play Hypnotize, we make them discard a Storm the Rage on, we draw off Prince John, giving us another Prince John, ink our Huntsman, taking us to 4 ink. That lets us play the Storm Rage on, sing the Storm Rage on. Wouldn't have had enough ink to play it. Again, it's again, I've just exerted my Prince John, and I know that he's going to be banished soon, but I've got nothing else in my hand to discard, and I have another Prince John, and I need to start removing these threats. I could have challenged, but playing Storm Rage on let me draw the card, and means that I take no damage, even though it's not going to make a huge difference. It makes a bit of a difference for the maths, because Cinderella only has 1, so if I'd have taken 1 before, then she would have been able to go into me and finish me off if they wanted to. They probably wouldn't, because there's a lot of, obviously Cinderella's really versatile, you want her out, but they're able to easily take me out with the Aerial and survive it. They quest out of Cinderella, but now we're pretty cooking, because they don't have a whole lot going on. I inked the Daisy because I wanted to be able to put down Pete soon, I think. Yeah, I could have inked the Pete. No, I think that was still a fine line of play, though. No, I probably should have inked the Pete there so that I could... No, I think my thought trail was you're going to empty your hand here, you're going to draw, you're going to ink, and you're going to play something. So I think that was my thought trail to getting rid of Daisy. They're able to shift onto Cinderella with the last card in the hand, weren't able to play a song, so unable to challenge me. Once again, the Power of Beast just coming in so clutch, drawing 2 cards at the start of your turn. Such a strong card. So yeah, we throw the other Daisy because they already have no hand, so it makes all the sense. And we throw down the Beast Relentless because I think it made the most sense, but also it's the content I was looking for. We do challenge there because I've got a couple of cards now. It's going to stop me drawing at such a pace, but I wanted to turn off Aerial singing Whole New World for free. I know Cinderella could do the same, but if they do that, at least then Cinderella isn't doing anything else for the rest of the turn because she'll be exerted. So I just wanted to take that option away from them, but there was an argument that I could have just held there to guarantee that I get to draw another 2 cards, because I've got 3, but I don't have loads going on, but I've got a bit of a board state. They top a Queen, throw it down, they're able to challenge into my Beast, and they only take 1 damage. A Ring the Bell would be really nice here. We quest up straight away. We start taking advantage of the Relentless second win. We throw down our Tinkerbell, put some chip. Obviously does nothing to the Cinderella because of resist, but we still get to ready back up Beast because we did it to Queen. We quest up again and we pass. I could have inked the Pete there, but my thought trail is I'm about to start. I'm losing my Beast here for sure, and I don't really need any more ink at this point. It'd be nice to build to 7 eventually for if just to have more going, it would be nice to build it up even more eventually, but at the moment I don't have a lot of cards in my hand and I'd rather keep the resources. So we pass over, they quest up with the Queen, and they are going to challenge into our Beast, which you get the option to re-ready up, but it doesn't matter because you're banished anyway. Taking them down to 2. They must have seen that this was good for me because it now means that Tinkerbell can take out Cinderella, but I think their thought trail must have just been, I need to deal with this Relentless Beast, so I'm just going to have to do it. We top Lucifer, which is kind of filthy. Immediately we go into Cinderella. We also get banished in the process, but we take her out and we still get the Puny Pirate ability to take out the Queen, and I decide to... just for filth, purely for filth, we put down the Lucifer to remove the final card from their hand. We take a look at the discard for a reminder. It was a Stouthearted, which they weren't able to play yet anyway, but still, it's gone. They top... Let the Storm Rage on, which it kind of sucks though, because it's removal plus they're going to get to draw another card, but hey, most decks should have quite a lot of good tops. They drew another Cinderella Stouthearted, which they still couldn't play, so they immediately ink it and pass it over. We draw another Beast Tragic Hero, and I throw that boy right down because we want to be drawing more cards. At this point, I'm now happy to ink Pete because I know that not, like, most likely I am drawing 2 cards from Beast next turn. Obviously, there's every chance they could draw a chip card, but I'm pretty happy to take the risk. And they do draw a Grab Your Swords. But again, in my head, I was like, even if they do, that means they've topped 1 chip card and they're not playing anything else, and I'm still going to draw, and I'm still in a pretty good board state here. So it sucks that that happened, but it's going to happen. We top another Beast Relentless, which is pretty nice for us, I'm not going to lie. We throw him down, we quest up, bringing us a little bit closer. We're now at 7-10, and they are topping, and down comes the Simba, and like, that's much more what we wanted to see. We throw down the Storm Rage on. We play this immediately because we're able to draw a card and we can finish the Simba off with a final ping, which I'm pretty sure is what I do. I could have quested here as well. That was a misplay on my half. I should have quested first with Beast Relentless. Always call out your misplays, and I will always do the same. It'd be so easy for me to only show games where I made the best plays and wins, but that's not what this channel is about. I think I'm a good player. I don't think I'm a world champion player. I hope to get there one day. Do I think I could top 8 a tournament? Absolutely. Do I think I'm going to consistently win? Probably not, but we try and improve all the time, and one of the ways of doing that is to call out your own mistakes, and I'm never going to hide that from the audience. So yeah, we misplay here. I could sit here and say I was still getting used to Beast Relentless, and I was. But this was probably at least my 3rd or 4th game, so yeah, definitely switched off for a moment there. And there's another game that we'll get to later where I misplay 3 times, and we'll walk through that in a lot more depth. But yeah, I do misplay here. I should have quested first because I'd have been able to re-ready and get another quest off. We do throw down Prince John just because. I mean, I think I was conscious of the fact that they could grab your swords, but even grab your swords leaves me with both of my beasts. They are unable to do anything, so we quest. That would have been game if I'd have remembered to sequence correctly the previous turn, but it doesn't matter at this point. We are far too ahead. So that was 2 games with the Relentless Discard, the hand discard version of Beast Relentless. So it can be a lot of fun. The hand discard stuff can be fun in general. My problem with it is if you don't get Prince John plus a Hypnotize or a Daisy those first few turns, it can all go wrong. And even if you do, if they're playing Whole New World, sometimes it can just not matter and they just upset it all. And even if you're drawing extra cards because they used Whole New World and you end up drawing 8, 9, 10 cards with Prince John, that puts you closer to deck out, and it's sometimes just not enough. So I don't think hand discard is the most consistent, but it is fun and it can work, and there's a couple of examples of it working along with Beast Relentless. Going on now to our second list, our Relentless Hero version. So none of the hand discard except one little tech. I'm conscious of time. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll try and move through this as quick as I can. Most things here I have explained its purpose for being here. Different counts, we're all in on the Whole New World here. 4 Smash, 3 Storm Rage on. But yeah, in this particular deck, we are running the 4/4 line of Stouthearted Cinderella, who is just so incredibly strong. Again, helps against Tink, helps against the fact that it's harder for them to chip you and then play Ring the Bell on you. Being able to challenge ready characters is one of the most powerful abilities in the game, and we don't have loads of songs, but we have enough here that you could get it off. You could raise this to a 4 count if you wanted to. You could also mess around with Strength of a Raging Fire, things like that. But yeah, everything else I've explained here. Benja. The last game, the very last game I show you, I wasn't running Benjas at the time. I'm still showing it to you though because it's an interesting game. But yeah, Benja I think is just really important. We are playing 1 Lucifer. This deck does a really good job of cycling through to the pieces you need and getting to your wheel because of both Cinderella and the Huntsman. We are just milling through, so we can be a bit more we can have some extra techie stuff and some uninkable stuff because we should be able to build to a playable hand, and sometimes just Lucifer on the right turn can be absolutely deadly. So I really like the one-off Lucifer in this list. Everything else should be pretty straightforward. It's trying to do the exact same thing, just supported in a slightly different way. So let's jump into a couple of games. Okay, so once again, we've got a short game and a long game. So we're going first, once again, makes a change. We throw away Hans, Pete, and a Whole New World. I think because I had the Beast here, I was happier to build to that. I want the Benja for if I'm against Ruby Sapphire. Fire the Cannons I want against potential turn 1 Cinderella or turn 1 Queen. And I think in my head I'm inking the other Hans. I probably should have thrown the other Hans, to be honest, as well, and just dug a little bit deeper and expected to find other inkable things. But we take the mulligan, we immediately ink a Hans, but we don't have a whole lot else going on, unfortunately. They ink Ray, and we are against evasives. So, sup, first to 20, Evasive Dreams, my man, go sub to first to 20. They ink a Ray. And the flow down for... I've shown this mostly as a, hey, if there's a lot of evasive in your area, then get a load of how good these ping cards do against it. But they throw down Flynn. We draw a Tinkerbell. I'm happy to throw the Benger because I don't think they're going to be... I know they're not playing Ruby Sapphire. We throw down the Robin Hood because we know we're going to survive hits. We can start pinging at things, so he should stick around and be able to do some work. They ink up and throw down a Flynn Rider, which we're very glad to see that we had fire the cannons in our hand for that. We don't waste too much time just immediately doing that because we don't want to be discarding cards. We ink... I do think I ink the other Benger because I'm like, if this is evasives, then I don't think there's going to be much of an item count. Throw an Enchantress, that's another card that's quite common, and like again, things like Robin Hood are really strong against. They throw down a Cheshire Cat, and they quest up with Flynn Rider. We draw Hans. At this point, I'm happy to throw down a Tink because I want to throw down this Hans straight away. So I'm happy to do that, and I know I'm playing Beast next turn anyway. We ping the Cheshire Cat here, because next turn I want to be able to double ping and just remove it from the field. I don't want them potentially shifting onto the bigger one. And again, I don't want to have to be banished from my troubles of challenging into it, whereas Flynn Rider I'm much happier to challenge into. They ink a mini, and they throw down Pongo. It's been a while, Pongo. We draw the baby Cinderella. Again, I'm happy to ink the Tink here. Again, if I'd have drawn... Yeah, if I hadn't drawn the baby Cinderella, I might have inked the Cinderella Stouthearted there instead. But because I just see an immediate shift target, I'm like, okay, I can build to that pretty quickly. But I still throw down the Beast because we want to be drawing cards. And as I said, I just immediately double ping this Cheshire Cat and get it off the board. I don't want to see the shifted one going down. So yeah, I'm perfectly happy with that. We're not under too much pressure. They throw down a Teeth and Ambitions, putting 2 damage on their Flynn Rider and 2 on my Hans that they can then challenge and finish him off, which is a respectable decision because together they easily eliminate Pongo. They ink and they throw down Pete and pass it over to us, and we draw 2 cards of our... If nothing else, this is a video just, like, demonstrating Beast's tragic hero more than anything else. But yeah, we ping this Pongo, and because we just drew a fire the cannons of our 2 draws, so we're able to finish up that off quite nicely. We throw this down, and I've considered not doing this because I was like, I don't know if I want to throw either of these cards. But then I was like, my opponent has no hand. Let's just throw the wheel. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to need this. Even drawing a second Cinderella was like, I'm still not wheeling. And I've got Beast here who's going to keep drawing me 2 cards as long as he doesn't get chipped. And I've seen green-red. I'm not, like, again, I did just see a Teeth and Ambitions, but I know there's not as much chip in these colours. So I fancy my chances to be able to just keep drawing with Beast, so I'm happy to throw the wheel. They draw, they quest up with Big Pete and throw down Tinkerbell. This ping deck loves to see these evases. Once again, we draw 2 cards, the absolute value, one of them being Grab Your Swords. I'm happy to sing this with Beast to get our initial ping down. We throw down Cinderella. She's able to go into Pete to finish the job. We only take 1 damage. We're able to ping with it's all so satisfying the way that goes down. So yeah, just demonstrate again. We didn't get to show the Relentless Beast in that particular game, but just the power level against things like evasive and things like aggro. So let's jump into a different game. Okay, so this is our longest one. This is against Ruby Sapphire. This is against Portable Control. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting game. I misplay 3 times in this game, and we'll talk about them as we get to them. We're going first. Again, that seems to be the theme of this video. If you're new to my channel, trust me, that's not common. We throw away the Robin and the Beast. Yeah, I probably should have thrown... Yeah, I probably should have thrown either a World or a Beast there. But we keep them anyway, and yeah. Oh, this is the point in time where I was still playing Hook. And I wasn't playing Benger. I mentioned that earlier, but yeah, just so that we've got full transparency. This version of the list doesn't have Benger. Instead, it's a full count of Hook. In that vein, we still ink Hook turn 1. I'm happy to do that. I'm going first, and I know I'm putting down the Cinderella turn 2. Our opponent gives us greetings, so we greetings back. Opponent draws, and they ink a Fishbone Quill. and throw down the Porpsicle. So that's what gave me my confirmation. They draw, and we draw Robin Hood. I inked the Cinderella because I want to put down the Huntsman instead, because, previous turn I was in two minds which way I wanted to go, but as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, I need to be aggressive. I really need to be aggressive. And I'm already holding, like, a couple of the key pieces I would have really liked to dig for anyway, so I'm happy to just throw down Huntsman here, and just start getting some quest pressure off. They ink a Maleficent, so that's one less removal card. Throw down a Queen. We draw a Robin Hood. We quest up because we need to start digging. Robin Hood's a fine target to throw away. We do ink a beast purely because we've got two, and it's our only option to ink. We do fire the cannons because I want to try and get a bit more value off this Huntsman. I'm aware that they could just throw down another, but I'm like, but if you haven't got it, then I get some more questing out of the Huntsman, so that's my call there. I also throw down Robin Hood. I know they shouldn't have too much removal or access to removal yet. They ink a shield and throw down Judy Hopps, throwing away their own Porpsicle to draw a card, and they pass over. We draw a Tinkerbell. We immediately quest so that we can see more cards before choosing what we want to ink. We do throw the Grab Your Swords at this point. We don't have a lot of options, and I'm really hoping that I can build to a Lucifer, because, like, the way you should think of it is that as they go into their turn 4, they will go up to 7 cards, but they'll ink one and hopefully play one, taking them to 5, and may even play another, taking them to 4. You want their hand to be lower when you play Lucifer, so they've got less options for what they're throwing away, or less odds of them having an action to only have to discard one. We ink the Tinkerbell at this point. We give a ping to Judy Hopps because I know that Judy Hopps can challenge into... I don't expect her to because the Huntsman's right there, but if she wanted to challenge into us, then we would survive the hit. Judy Hopps would take 1 damage, and then we would get one last ping off of Robin Hood to finish the job. Again, I don't expect them to go down that line of play, but it's just, like, making it if they do, then that's not as wise for them. They do all sorts of Porpsicle things. They throw away another Fishbone Quill. They challenge into the Huntsman, as I was expecting. And yeah, again, another reason why it was better to chip, because in my head I was like, okay, well, if you go into Huntsman, then I can still finish you off with a 3rd ping from Robin Hood. But I did forget they can just remove Porpsicle to heal. But at the same time, that's not the worst thing, because now they need to... If they want to, like, to be fair, in my head I was thinking, okay, well, now next turn you can still go Porpsicle Flavisham, but again, if they're removing their own items, it's one less option for them. They 1 jump ahead for some extra ramp. They throw down a Shield of Virtue, so immediately replacing that item, and they pass over. We draw Captain Hook, who immediately gets inked, and I'm pretty sure I throw down Beast here, yeah, because I was like, I want to draw cards, plus next turn you go up to 5 cards in your hand, you ink 1, and then you hopefully play 1 or 2 cards. So that's the, like, in my Fort Trail, I want a Lucifer next turn because I think they'll have less options, preferable options to throw away. We do a ping for the same reasons I demonstrated before. They ink a Teeth and Ambitions, which is worth noting because it's why I make a play later that is still questionable, but it was the motivation. We'll get there. They throw down a Maui, which I knew was going to be coming up at some point, but I still think it was worth the chip. They go into Robin Hood remove. We get to draw our 2 cards, though, which is pretty great. We get a Stouthearted and a Ring the Bell. Yeah, I immediately throw down the Lucifer. I was like, this is the time when you've got only 3 cards in your hand. Let's get rid of some stuff. There was no action, so we do force them to get to throw away Nick and Gaston. We ink our Stouthearted and pass up. I want to keep drawing. They do, unfortunately, top a Hades. Could sit and complain about it. Sometimes I will. At the same time, this deck has a lot of cards like it could have topped there. Not Maleficent because they're not at enough ink. But there's Lady Tremaine. I don't think they're playing Dragonfires. It still kind of sucks that they were able to get that turn, but that's TCGs. It's going to be that way sometimes. So they do immediately remove our Beast, which really sucks for us. They quest up with Judy Hopps and pass over. We draw another Ring the Bell. I play it on the Maui. I just want it out of here. I know it can't quest, but I think my thought trail was, okay, well, I'm wheeling soon anyway, and I want to be able to quest with Lucifer, and in my thought trail, I was like, okay, well, if you challenge with Judy Hopps, then at least Judy takes herself out as well. Whereas if you challenge with Maui, he would have survived. So that's why I played Ring the Bell on Maui instead. So I still get a bit more value. Obviously, I'm holding another Ring the Bell, so I'm hoping I can get some chip damage on this Hades to remove that. We pass over, they draw. They throw down Queen of Hearts, who is able to immediately deal with this Lucifer. Fair enough. And they quest up for 4, I believe. Taking them to 6. Shield of Virtue, that Hades. We draw a Beast Relentless, which is okay. At least it's something that we can put down and threaten the opposing board. We pass over to them once again. They quest up with Hades and immediately re-ready. They ink a Fishbone Quill, and they don't quest with Judy Hots, which does make sense because I would have just got rid of them for free and re-readied myself. We draw, we get another Beast Relentless. I quest first and throw down a second one, pass over. We're coming up to my first like big misplay now. It's coming. I think this video is going to probably end up being just under an hour, which is a shame, but there'll be timestamps and all that jazz. They take a while thinking about this decision. I don't know why I didn't. That's why I didn't cut that space. Let's go back a little. Let's just go back a teeny tiny. There was a reason I didn't cut that dead space, but bear in mind this is still sped up 150%. They top. This is sped up 150%. Oh, you are going to play that Hades, which is the only card in your hand. Okay, fair enough. I can understand why that was a difficult decision to come to. So they throw down another Hades that they top and get rid of our Beast Relentless. Not salty at all. Pass over. We top a Hans. We don't. I don't really believe I ink here. Let's let the turn play out and see. Yeah, I just throw this down. Yeah. Okay, so this is first misplay. Although I'm not sure if it was a misplay. Like it was, but only with hindsight. So I throw down the Hans, which is going to be good for me. I'm thinking, okay, this allows me to ping, do some questing with Beast. It also allows me to get some damage on a Hades so I can ring the bell. My mistake here was not questing. You know, I've put X's so that I didn't forget to point out the moments that were misplays. The reason I don't quest here, in my head, was because I'm fearing Teeth and Ambitions. Because if I quest here, I have nothing to allow myself to re-ready. So I'm stuck. And my thought I wasn't worried about their creatures, their characters, because they challenge into me with any of them. I survive the hit and then I re-ready myself. But in this moment of madness, I forgot that Teeth and Ambitions 2 would re-ready me. So, yeah, it was a misplay. I don't know why I said hindsight. I think I was thinking about something else. Yeah, it was just a complete misplay. I should have quested here. In my head, I was like, oh, if you Teeth and Ambitions, then you could then finish me with Hades. But yeah, I was aware of the fact that if they challenged into me with one of their characters, I would re-ready. But then when I thought of Teeth and Ambitions, if they topped it, I forgot, oh, okay, even if you do that, then I will be able to... No, I'm going insane. Because they could have challenged into me with Hades, it would have re-readied me, but then they still could have played Teeth and Ambitions. Yeah, I knew I wasn't completely silly, just kind of 50%. But yeah, my thought right here was if they top Teeth and Ambitions, then they would just be able to challenge into me with Hades and then play the Teeth and Ambitions to still remove my Beast. And as far as I'm concerned, this Beast is my road to victory here and being able to deal with this board. So that's why I didn't quest. So I pass over. They play Nick Wild to return a Porpsicle, immediately throw it down to draw another card. This deck is just a perfect circle. They quest big, getting them to 12, 14. Re-ready one of the Hades and pass. So this is where it becomes a definite misplay. Because you could argue it was still a misplay because even though I was right about they could have Teeth and Ambitions to finish after the challenge with Hades, it was still off the top. But again, I was like, you could draw Flavisham and you've already got a Shield of Virtue down there. I don't know, I was just fearing it. So I probably should have just quested, but I've given you the reason why I didn't. But if I had, I would already be at 10 lore here. That would have been 12. That would have been 14. There's another misplay here coming very soon. So I would have been on 14. That would have been 16. This is a misplay. I'll come back to it, explain it in a minute though. That would have been... so yeah, I would have done that. I'm going to quest in a moment. Okay, I'm trying to... There's two misplays going on, and I'm trying to explain them a weird way. Let's just watch the whole thing play out, and then I'll talk it through and take it back when I need to. So yeah, there's the questing. That would have been 18. This is all if I'd have quested on the previous turn. That would have now been 18. I would have tinked here. And that would have been... And now I would be questing for 20. So it would have been game this turn if I had quested the previous turn with Beast Relentless. But there is also a misplay in this turn as well. So let's take it back a moment. So here, I quest with Hans and ping the Hades. My thought trail was that I wanted to be able to remove that one with Ring the Bell and still be able to challenge into this other Hades and remove it, even though it was removing myself, even though that wasn't the best play, but it was my thought trail at the time. But what I should have done here, instead of questing and pinging this Hades, I should have challenged into Judy Hopps, because that would have taken out Judy Hopps and I would have survived the hit, and Beast would have still re-readied here because I'm still doing damage, so that's all fine. I opt to quest here because I know I'm able to. I'm doing another ping here. I now play Storm Rage on. This should have been on this Hades that I was eyeing up originally, but instead I moved over to this Judy Hopps, which still, there was a lot of misplays in this turn. I ended up destroying the Judy Hopps, which does still re-ready me. Draws me a card, Tinkerbell, which is important for the turn, but it was still a misplay even without the Tink. I end up inking the Ring the Bell because I want to play the Tink, which, don't get me wrong, if I had quested the previous turn, as I just explained, I would have been going for game here, so it would have been fine. But because I want to play the Tink, I ink the Ring the Bell. I quest up with Beasts. I play down this Tink because I know it's going to allow me to re-ready. But now I'm in a position where I have to go into this Hades twice to take it out. And it also is taking me out in return. Whereas, if I'd have gone into the Judy Hopps with Hans, like I said, Judy Hopps would have been gone, Hans would have still been alive. I'd have been 2 lore down, but Beast would have still re-readied up because I was doing damage. Then I put the Storm Rage on damage on the Hades, this Hades that I'm challenging into now that I was eyeing up originally. That would have left it on 4, which meant that this challenge here would have immediately taken out that Hades, and I would have survived it. And then I would have been free to either quest again, which probably would have done what I would have done, or just stay readied. So that was a big misplay turn. You could argue the previous turn where I didn't quest wasn't a misplay, because I'm reading into something that was very real. They could have, they've already revealed their playing teeth and ambitions. They could have porpsicled to it. They could have flabershammed to it. And I don't know whatever card draw they're running, but even that's plenty. Or they could have just topped it. So that was my thought trail, but it was a misplay with hindsight. But you could still argue it was an okay move to make. But this turn, I got completely wrong. And again, I think it's important to call yourself out on these things. So yeah, I really mess up that turn. I pass over, they draw, they quest with Nick Wilde and with Hades, taking them to 18. They re-ready the Hades with Shield of Virtue. Now they be prepared because I do technically... I wouldn't have had game. Yeah, I would have had game. Yeah, I would have had game, so they have to. Now they throw down Flavisham, who immediately just starts doing porpsicle things, removes the porpsicle, draws 2 cards. I should have fired the cannons this here. I think I was just a bit salty. At this point, I'd played quite a few games, desperately looking for Beast Relentless content. And in my head, I was like, I think it's because I'd realised how much I'd messed up the turn before. I was like, oh man. So I didn't fire the cannons like a fool. I play the wheel because I've got no choice. I do end up playing fire the cannons here anyway, so I can then ring the bell to get rid of this Flavisham. I ink just because, hey, let's have maximum ink to play with next turn. But I know that the writings are pretty much on the wall. They play Flavisham, remove the shield, they draw. There's a Teeth and Ambition, so yeah, there were more. They throw down the Tala and the Judy Hopps, and I think, do I end up surviving this turn? No, I don't think I've got nothing here. I think I played down these last couple of cards just desperately thinking, oh no, because I could have drawn another Fire the Cannons or a Smash to at least buy myself another turn. It was pretty much over anyway, but it's just in my instinct to do that. But unfortunately, they do end up taking the dub, and yeah, we cost ourselves that game. But again, it's important to point these things out, and it's hopefully how we get better. And that is it for our Beast Relentless deck profile. So yeah, fun card. When it works, it feels so strong. I don't think it's going to be a star player, an S tier player in this format. In time, with future support, perhaps, At the moment, I think our format is just far too aggressive, and turn 6, putting something down that doesn't immediately do something and isn't guaranteed to do something in a format filled with so much removal just isn't reliable. Don't get me wrong, if you're playing with steel, most of your victories will just come off just the fact that steel is strong, but it can still put in some work in game, so it's a fun one to try out. I think probably the Cinderella version is better. I think the hand discard version is more fun. But the list will be linked down below. Feel free to try them out, and who knows, maybe with a few more tournaments I am proved wrong and he has a much better showing than I'm giving him credit for. And that's it for our Beast Relentless deck profile. That's everything to do with this video's theme out of the way. I am now going to talk about something else, so if you're just here for the deck profile, the gameplay, once again, thanks for watching. But yeah, there is something else that I want to talk to, and this is coming from a place of anxiety, so if it sounds anxious, it is. And this is hopefully the one and only time I have to address this. Maybe it comes to pass that I have to in the future, and if that time comes, then we'll get to it. But I want to address this once and once only. I don't think of myself as a character streamer. What you see is very much what you get. The bursting into song, the silly voices, the random stories. That's just who I am and who I have always been. But I studied musical theatre my whole life. I trained to be an actor and singer, so it's very much just bled into my personality. Do I focus it more on Disney bursting into song when I'm playing Lorcana TCG? Absolutely, but I'm playing it. You put some of my favourite musicals or different shows in front of me, I'm gonna burst into songs that are more to do with them. So I don't think of myself as a character streamer. I never have. But the introduction of Crystal Ball, there is an element of that there, because obviously I'm creating content, I'm creating entertainment. You're not stupid, you realise it's a PNG, but you don't need to be reminded of that. You want to be immersed and hopefully entertained. But the point is, I'm still going to play into that character, and I'm not going to make a habit of bringing up stuff like this, but I feel like it's important for me to. When I did the first video of it the other day, I made a point of mentioning during the whole bit about the voice being based off of Marek from Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. And I want to talk about that to a small degree, because it would have been stupid to have not registered that and to have not brought that up, because Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series is one of the most famous things on the internet. And there's a lot of crossover between TCGs. I dare say a lot of you people watching here were or are Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans. Maybe not all, but a good amount. It would have been silly to not bring up, yes, this is very clearly a voice similar based on Marek from Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. There was no way I wasn't going to not do that. And if you've never seen Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series, just this once, it will be linked down below, little Kuriboh's channel. Go and watch it. It's fantastic. But what I want to make clear is that I have not just gone, that's something really popular that people like, let's just steal it. That's not how I feel about it, and maybe you'll disagree, but I'll make my point. Doing that voice is a huge part of my personality and my whole life. Anyone that knows me personally, some of my best friends watch the channel, and they will tell you that I do that voice all the time. I do Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series impressions all the time anyway, because I'm addicted to it, and it's one of the best shows in the world, and you will find content on the internet of me doing direct impressions of all the characters from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and copying the script. I haven't uploaded to it for ages, but I have a TikTok where I just do impressions from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. I have a different YouTube channel where I've uploaded shorts of the same thing, and I've always said, this is someone else's script, this is someone else's voices, I'm just doing impressions of them because I love it. But the Marek voice goes a little bit deeper, and I know I have no way of proving this, but I have been doing that voice since before I ever even discovered Yu-Gi-Oh! The Bridge series, and that is going back like 15 plus years. I have no way of ever proving that to you. It is just a voice I started doing from a really young age, being the weird musical theatre kid that I was, that would just do funny bits, and I was a loser, man. It's fine now, I'm comfortable in my skin, but like, I was that weird kid that did voices and weird bits and was talking to themselves, and I used to do that voice all the time. It was a little bit more high-pitched because I didn't have as deep a voice, but I had always done it. And then when I discovered Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, I was like, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love this. This is fantastic. And then when Marek came into it, I was like, oh my god, one of my favourite characters of Yu-Gi-Oh! And he's the voice that I've done all the time. I am not trying to say that I originated it. Little Kuriboh did and made it famous. That is not what I'm trying to say at all. I need to stop clapping, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make the point of, I haven't just gone, that's something that people find fun, let's just nick it. It is something that is also incredibly personal to me. It is like, if you spend at least an hour with me, you will hear me do that voice, just not necessarily even a Marek quote, just doing that voice because it's just bled into who I am. And I denied about whether or not to use it as the Crystal Ball voice, because I was worried about people saying, oh, you're just stealing from Little Kuriboh, you don't have an original forward, all this stuff. And that stuff did, like, it very nearly made me not do it. But I have decided to push through, because I know in myself that I've not just gone rip. Don't get me wrong, there's some performance aspects that are very much based on it when I say evil. And just generally, the bit of the demeanour is inspired by the Marek character created by Little Kuriboh. I do not deny that at all. But the voice is something I've always done for a long time. It's something I do all the time. If you don't think it's okay, I'm sorry, I understand. What I can promise you is, if Little Kuriboh ever directly says, I don't really like the fact that you're doing that voice for your videos, even if it's not to me directly, even if they would just put up a tweet saying, oh, I would find that quite awful and I would not approve, then I will stop doing it, because Little Kuriboh is literally a hero to me. I don't want to get too deep, but Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series made me laugh at the darkest period of my life where everything seemed hopeless, and it brought me back from a really dark place. So I thought, he will always be a hero to me. And if he is to ever come out and say anything on the lines of, I think that's inappropriate or whatever, I can promise you I will stop. Other than that, if you guys are enjoying it, I'm going to keep on doing it. But that's all from me for now. If you're brand new to the channel, please do subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed this much longer than it needed to be video, and we'll see you soon.